FBOs, also known as Framebuffer Object. It is used for something known as off-screen rendering. Off-screen rendering is rendering something off of your screen and it does not reflect on your main screen. And it allows you to create really cool effects such as post-processing effect, the famous night vision effect from Splinter Cell games, or a bloom effect which makes things glow inside of a game. It even allows you to create mirrors and cameras in games such as surveillance cameras and much more. If you are familiar with OpenGL or any other graphics API, you must be familiar with all the buffers that are provided by these APIs. These are the color buffer, which is where all the colors of the rendered image go to. The depth buffer, this is where some fragments are discarded based on their Z value. And the stencil buffer, which is used for masking of your fragments. FBO consists of all these three buffers, but it mainly consists of a color buffer. The depth and the stencil buffer are optional. The FBO lives inside your GPU memory and consists of all these buffers. For creating a custom FBO, we need at least one of these buffers to be attached to our FBO. Let's talk about what OpenGL allows us to do. It allows us to define a custom FBO. It allows us to create a custom color buffer for our FBO, and we can add that as an attachment to our FBO. And we can also create depth and stencil buffer, which are optional. There are multiple ways to create attachments for our FBO. The first method is using the textures. Textures allows you to create color buffer, depth buffer and stencil buffer. You can make whichever combo you like. So instead of loading an image into a texture, we attach it as a color buffer to our FBO. We can also attach depth and stencil buffers separately or together into a single texture. The second method is using RBO, also known as Renderbuffer Object. RBOs are read-only. Because of this property of RBOs, we use RBOs generally for stencil and depth buffers, because in these buffers we only need to test values to decide fragment passes the stencil or depth test or not. So we can either decide to create all three buffers using textures, or the more general approach is to create a color buffer using a texture and the other two depth and stencil buffers using RBOs.